I got 5 things I'm looking forward to at Browns training camp. Let's talk about it on this episode of the BJack 70 Show. Welcome back to the BJack 70 Show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and today it's here. The Browns are reporting to Berea for training camp. The whole team, not just the quarterbacks and the rookies that are already here, but everybody. It's time. It's finally time for football season. Finally time to get into it. And I have 5 things that I want to talk about, what I'm looking forward to seeing at Browns training camp. I'm going to the practice on August 1st. Yeah, Saturday, August 1st. I'll be in the building. If you're there, if you watch the podcast and you're there, come hit me up, take a picture, do whatever. Come chop it up for a little bit, but I will be there on Saturday. TBD if I'll be there any other days. But at least on Saturday, I will be there. And I want to talk about, some of these things that I'm looking forward to, what I want to see from the Browns when I get there in person. So let's just get right into it. The first thing I want to see, first position group I want to see is probably not what you're thinking, but I want to see the receivers. I want to see the wide receivers. I want to see a lot of different things about the wide receivers. I want to see which one, what 2 or 3 receivers are going to work with the first team. I would expect Jerry Jeudy is probably locked in getting first team reps at wide receiver. But after that, is it Denzel Boston? Is it KC Concepcion, Isaiah Boston, Cedric Tillman still there? Who's working in with the first team? So that, I really want to see what the rotation is, what it looks like. If there's only 2 wide receivers on the field, who would that be? If I had to project and guess right now, feels like, if it's 21 personnel, 2 receivers on the field, feels like Jerry Jeudy and Denzel Boston. Could be wrong. It could be KC, could be Bond in there. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure Jerry Jeudy so far is going to be that guy that's always on the field with that first team offense. And then I want to dig into the rookies, the top 2 at least. What does KC Concepcion look like? What does Denzel Boston look like? Across the offseason, the spring and summer, we know Denzel Boston kind of got everybody's attention, kind of got, took everybody's eye, kind of took the team by storm, making plays, deep balls, contested catches, touchdowns, all across spring, all across summer. So I want to see if, Boston carries that momentum through, or does KC Concepcion kind of establish himself and catch up to him when the pads come on? Because I really do think the type of receiver that Concepcion will shine more when there's pads. When, there's, full go, you're trying to tackle him, he, is going to be a very hard man to tackle. So he might stand out a little bit more when the pads come on. So looking to see how those 2 establish themselves when, the lights are on now. So we'll see how they produce. And then last but not least, with the receivers, want to see if Isaiah Bond can continue that upward trajectory that we feel like he's been having. He's an extremely talented receiver. We'll give Andrew Berry credit for signing him, essentially treating him like, a pretty highly drafted rookie receiver last year. And I think it's going to pay dividends in 2026. Really excited to see what Isaiah Bond can do with Todd Monken, with this offense, with, adding Boston and Concepcion into this wide receiver group, that's only going to make him better. That's only going to take more attention off of him and, spread it around the other guys to, maybe let him go deep a little bit, let him work in the intermediate areas, maybe get him a screen, see if he can do something with it that way. So I'm excited. Everybody should be excited about this wide receiver room to see what the future holds. There's going to be some missteps, going to be some hiccups. Obviously, this is a young group with Jerry Jeudy in there. So, along with Jerry Jeudy in there, the rest of these guys are pretty young still. So there's going to be some growing pains. You got to give them a little bit of grace, but there's a lot of talent. There's a whole lot of talent in that room, something that we haven't seen from our Cleveland Browns receiver room in a long time. So excited to see what that looks like. Next up, we obviously have to talk about it. Got to see what's up with the quarterback competition. Want to see how each of them look individually, going through individual periods, watching them warm up, watching them do different things that you may not be able to see with, when the media posts that they're only posting, real live footage most of the time. But I want to kind of get in there early, see who comes out, see who's leading the drills, see who's first up in all of these individual drills, see how the reps are split between them when we go to a team period. Really looking at all of the above, everything that you want to know about the quarterbacks, I also want to know. I want to know who starts, who finishes, how many reps are both of them getting, who's looking better, who's completing more passes. I can say right now, I'm not going to be part of updating the quarterback tracker. Stat sheet, that's not going to be my job, so don't ask me about it. But I'm gonna be able to tell you what they look like as a whole, but I'm not going to be updated. Oh, Shedeur went 9 for 16. Deshaun went 7 for 14, or I'm not doing that. But, hopefully I'll be able to get in there and get, some video for myself, and, we can break that down on the channel. So hopefully they allow cell phone use. I know a couple other places I'm going later in training camp don't allow for cell phone use. So you're going to have to take my word for it there. But hopefully the Browns, let a brother go ahead and videotape some content. Of course, being a lineman myself, offensive lineman at heart, got to get in there, got to see what the offensive line looks like. Number one priority is to figure out who that starting five is. Who's going to be across that line when the first team offense gets out there? And if it's not static, got to figure out who's rotating in with the ones. Have to discern that. I really want to know who's going to be out there. And I think it's going to take some time. I think the run game, as far as the offensive line goes, will work itself out. Like, I think they'll do a good job with that. I know Todd Monken has, everywhere he's gone, gotten the run game going. So, I don't foresee an issue with the run game. I need to know how well they're doing picking up blitzes. I need to see what that pass protection looks like. Because if that pass protection is bad, then we're going to be in for another long season. If, there's flashes of good pass protection, I would love to see it. Because, again, this is going to be early. This is going to be the one I'm going to open practice 2. They maybe will have practiced 4, maybe 5 times in total, in training camp starting today. But I want to know if they have the right pieces to become a line that can protect whoever's back there at quarterback. And yes, it's going to take some time. No, it won't be perfect when I'm there. No, it probably won't be perfect even by the time we get to week 1 and real bullets start flying. Probably will not be, fully formed. But I just want to know if the pieces are there. I think they have the talent. I think it's a whole new 5 that are going to be starting. I think it's going to be a really good situation in that offensive line room, but I just want to know when I get there, what does it look like in person? How are they interacting with each other? And what does that pass protection look like? A couple of times during OTAs, during minicamp, there's guys coming off the edge. There's free rushers coming off the edge right at the quarterback. Of course, they're not hitting anybody in practice. There's no pads. You're not going to hit your own quarterback. But again, if it was a preseason game, quarterback is, French toast back there. So really going to have to, shore that up. But I believe in it, and I believe they can do it. I think this is going to be a very good group. I think by the time we get to December, we're going to look up and see, wow, this offensive line is a strength of this team. I really do believe that. I really do think they got a good group of guys in there. Spencer Fano, Titus Howard in there, Elton Jenkins in there. We'll see about Zion Johnson, Tevin Jenkins, if he's going to be the one playing. I'm really liking what they've got there. The fourth thing is, and this is a short one, but in that defensive backfield, want to know what the nickel position looks like, because I still don't think we've attacked that with enough urgency as a lot of people would have liked us to in the offseason. Unsure, unclear who's going to be that guy in the nickel. That's a huge position. That's a very important position in 2026 in the NFL. That's kind of the linchpin of your pass coverage, that if you have a guy in there that can do a lot of things that's really good, it can free up your defense to be able to do a lot of different things in coverages and in blitzes. So we really need a guy that's in there at nickel that can hold his own weight. And I don't know if we have that in the building right now. Maybe we do, maybe I'm wrong, maybe they see it differently, but I don't feel like we do. But I kind of want to get in there and see what that looks like. Hopefully, I'm wrong, and we have at least starting caliber nickel play in 2026. On top of that, staying in the defensive backfield along the same lines, want to see what they're doing with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. That was an unbelievable pick. Everybody thought at the end of this past draft, everybody loves Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, myself included. I want to see how he gets worked in, if he's going to be in that starting rotation, if he's going to be a guy that's in there in the base package or in a nickel dime package. Really excited to see what they do with him. I know he didn't get a lot of time over the summer and the spring, but it's time. It's time to get in there. It's time to do the work right now. So hopefully he can get in there and do what he can, and hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it looks good. I got high hopes for that guy. A lot of people do. A lot of people really, really, really have high expectations for him. Maybe they're too high, but I don't think so, because I think he's that good of a player. Could have been a first-round pick, in my opinion. A couple of mock drafts I did for the Browns had us taking him in the first round. So I truly do have high expectations for him, and I think he can hit them. And the last thing I want to talk about is not with the players, but new head coach Todd Monken. Really want to know what he's like on the field. Is he popping from position to position? Is he staying with one position on that day, focusing with them, and then going to a different place? Is he the CEO looking over everything, or is he just working with the offense? And how do the players respond to him in the moment? What does that look like? What does it look like when there's a penalty, somebody goes off sides? How does he react? How does the team react? How do the assistant coaches react? Looking forward to that dynamic being seen at training camp. I know what I've heard. I know sounds like a great guy. I know he knows football. I know he's a football guy. He's a football lifer. Knows more football than I've forgotten. But I want to get in there and see how the team responds to him. We've seen, we had an extended years and years and years of how the team responded to Kevin Stefanski. For the most part, it felt generally positive, and I hope we can continue positivity, but I hope it can just be a little bit better. Everything you want to go forward. You want to have an upward trajectory, and I want to build on for the most part, high character guys we have in the locker room. Again, for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, high character guys we have in the locker room. Have them take control of the team, have them represent the team, and build that camaraderie, build that leadership, and lead this team forward. Looking forward to seeing what that looks like in person. Again, I'm going August 1st on Saturday. Hopefully, it doesn't rain us out, because I don't know if I'll have another opportunity to go to Browns training camp otherwise. So hopefully it stays outdoors and the public can watch all these things. But I'm excited. Let me know in the comments, is there anything else that you want me to cover, to document, to detail while I'm at Browns training camp? Let me know in the comments. I'll read it, I'll take note of it, and I'll do my best to get it done when I go. But as far as on this channel, the next time you see me will be after that training camp practice. Again, unless something crazy happens, then we'll have an emergency pod. But next time you see me on this channel will be after that training camp practice. So let me know in the comments, is there anything else you want to see that I didn't go over in this video? Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all after August 1st.